Welcome back to Conversation with Buddy. I'm your host, Buddy Puckett. Thank you for being here today and every week. We really appreciate you. You know, I do this podcast probably a little bit selfishly, if I'm being honest. I've been doing conversations for probably 25 to 28 years, and I really enjoy it. I'm encouraged. And through the podcast, I've had some elite people on here. Maybe their gifting is public speaking, or they're an elite athlete, whatever it may be. I try to gather some of their gifts, and I can't have their gifts, but I'm going to try to work on those. But one of my areas of maybe an area of weakness, the reason why I enjoy this podcast, is the area of discipline, of working out daily, eating good. Those are challenges, and maybe I'm the only one out here. I bet not, but it is definitely a challenge and a struggle. So for me, it encourages me to just have people on the podcast. I get to ask the really hard questions and figure out their morning routines and their disciplines. So I hope you two are getting these from the podcast. That's what we're doing this for. And today is going to be a special day too. In my career for 28 years, I've probably been in coaching for at least half of it, probably. I would tell you, when I'm not in coaching, I wander. When I'm in coaching, the accountability is there, and I do a lot better. So this morning, we have a special guest. She's a strategic leadership coach. It's going to be really amazing. I can't wait. So welcome, Lucy Escobar. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm excited to have this conversation and have the opportunity to get to know you as well.
Yeah, perfect. So Jackie Ellerbrock referred you, right? We connected probably a couple months ago, 2-3 months ago. Mm-hmm. And we were going to do it maybe even a month ago, but you had lost your cat. I want to hear the story. The cat was gone for
20 days.
20 days.
Yes. Luna, I have a Labradoodle. Her name is Mocha. And I opened the back door for her to run out a little bit outside. And Luna snuck out. And she went out running for 20 days. And I feel like I was running like a political campaign for Luna. I printed 150 flyers. Wow. I printed and I knocked on 150 doors looking for Luna.
Swear.
I had a community movement just going out at midnight looking for Luna's eyes around the neighborhood. And I tell you that a lot of wonderful things happened after, Luna came home. I met a lot of wonderful people. Yeah. She came back very unhealthy, very weak. So she lost 10 pounds in those 20 days. Because she's an indoor cat, right? Yeah. She's never been out, so she didn't know how to feed herself.
Poor girl.
But now she's back home strong and gained a little bit of weight. And now she's able to jump. Before she couldn't even jump. I mean, it was terrible. But I feel like the community was so supportive. They would send me videos and text message and ask to see if Luna was home. And now I'm still receiving visitors to meet Luna.
Is that right? That's really good.
Yes.
Well, it's funny. You mentioned a couple names. Luna is my daughter's cat's name. Mm-hmm. Mocha was a cat that we owned. You have a dog, Mocha.
Labradoodle.
Yeah, Labradoodle. We had a cat named Mocha. But about, I don't know, maybe a year ago, my neighbor had moved in, and their cat was really an indoor cat. Would go outside sometimes, but come right back in. Well, they came to the new neighborhood. And after, I don't remember which time, but go outside, come in, go outside, gone for a day, come back in. Well, then maybe the third or fifth time, it was gone for 2 weeks, and they were just devastated. We prayed about it. We literally, we just prayed, Lord. It's devastating when you lose an animal, especially like a cat. We prayed about it, and believe it or not, the cat showed up the next day. Yeah. You can't make that stuff up. So where did your cat go? How did the cat survive, I guess?
Yes, I'm not sure where she went, to be honest with you, because I actually went and did all this kind of research. I was paying a company for them to advertise it. I was like running my campaign about Luna. I have a little reward out. But one of the neighbors up the hill, she called me at 11 o'clock and she said, I think Luna is in my backyard. And I said, she's a runner. Go get like a towel or something so you can throw over her when you go out there. And sure enough, it was Luna. It was Luna. And the the way we knew was Luna. Of course, she chipped, but she has a little tiny tail. She was born with a small tail.
Little stubby.
She's a rescue cat, and so is Mocha. Mocha is a rescue dog as well. Both of my pets. Yeah.
You have a real heart for animals, don't you?
I do. Growing up, I always used to say, when I grow up, I'm going to have a room full of chocolates.
Yeah. Amen.
I know.
Amen.
And then a zoo, because I love animals. Yes.
A room full of chocolate and a zoo.
In a zoo.
Okay. Well, then, did you ever think about being a veterinarian? Was that ever?
No.
That just doesn't. Yeah.
No.
That's sick animals, not healthy animals.
Yes.
So that probably doesn't work together.
Yeah, growing up, I used to go around and pick everybody's dog and bring it over to my house. My mom used to be so mad at me, but I love them all. And they're like,
I love that.
Where is my cat? Where's my dog? Where's my bird?
Yeah.
Because I had birds, I had snakes, I had all kinds of different animals growing up. And
That's funny.
Birds.
Well, Lucy, we're going to hear all about you. I want to actually go to the very beginning because I want to hear the full journey of Lucy. You're a strategic coach focused on leadership, community development. Mm-hmm. I like that. I'm all in. So first of all, how long have you been a coach?
I've been a coach. Well, I started coaching when I was around 25 years old. I got really early into my banking career, which that was my passion. So I've been coaching and consulting for almost 25, 30 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, we're going to get into the banking, we're going to coaching, but let's go to the very beginning. I want to know, where were you born and how many siblings you have? And then talk to me about mom and dad. I think it's always, you and I are a product of our parents.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And good parents, bad parents, doesn't matter. We have parents. We're here. So how did your parents impact you to make you who you are today?
Yes.
That's the question.
I always say, I was born on a sunny day in Southern California. I was born in Torrance, California. And my family, my mom used to be a home state mom, and my dad used to be in construction. And my family relocated from Torrance to Baja California, Mexico, when I was 1 year old. So I grew up in Mexico when I was like 1 into around 5 or 6. Around that time, my parents got divorced, and I was adopted into a new family. And that new family actually brought me back to Torrance, California, where I continue to have 2 beautiful families. I have, from my biological family, I have 4 sisters and a brother. And from my second family, I have 4 brothers. So I have a large family that I am honored to be part of their lives.
So your mom and dad get divorced. What caused a new family? What was that about? Why not you go with mom or go with dad? What's that about?
I think that is a question that I always had. But I'm just grateful for this life that I have, because I wouldn't be able to be here without going through that phase of my life that it was so challenging as a child. Coming into a country where, well, first of all, Mexico refused to give me education because I was not a Mexican, right? I was a U.S. citizen.
Gotcha.
So they cut me off from school. And then when I got here into California, back to where I was born, it was very difficult. 1, being away from your family, right? That was very hard. And then 2, not knowing the language. I'm still learning how to speak English.
Okay.
And then coming into a new family that they have 4 boys. I was the only girl. And it was difficult because probably they weren't ready to have a sister, right? Yeah. So that was another transition in my life that I had to deal with. And most of my time growing up, when I got a little older, I was working, but I was at the park. Across the street, there used to be a park. So I was a child that was always at the park, at the swings, just playing and, just having a good time until my dad would get home, and then I would come over and come over the house. I started working when I was about 11 years old.
Wow.
My parents, my mom had a cleaning company and my dad had a landscaping company.
So real quick, when you say mom and dad, you're saying
the new family.
The new family.
Yeah.
Okay.
My new family that I moved in to live with them. So I started working with my mom cleaning houses when I was 11. I dislike not going to school. I always wanted to be in school because I didn't want to go out there and work, right? But I think that's what mold me to be this woman driven that I am today, with all of those ups and downs in life. So it's been a journey, but I'm very grateful and thankful because it gives me really an opportunity to connect with individuals that are not, maybe not professionals, or they have the background of my parents or things like that.
Yeah. Okay. So go back to your biological mom and dad. How do you differentiate when you say mom? Which mom are we?
Yes. I always say like my biological mom.
You just call her
Yes. So that's my mother, Rosa, and my father, Jose. Okay. And then my adopted parents was, Seferino and Dolores.
Gotcha. Yes. So what's the relationship like with your biological parents? With it, maybe both sets of parents now. What's that look like?
We had a lot of growing to do, and I can say today that, thank to God, I have a beautiful relationship with them. I love them and respect them and meet them what they are, and it is not my job to judge them or to do anything else than love them and support them, and I try to spend time with them. And there's a verse in the Bible, and I was thinking about it on my way here, that I think is Psalms 27:11, that says something that those lines like, your mother and your father, I'm trying to translate it here, might forget about you, but with everything, Lord will receive you. And I feel like that verse to me in the Bible really had a lot of healing in my heart, in my life. And I was able to really recognize that I've never been alone, that I've always been loved, and I always have his company with me. And that to me is so precious, and I treasure that in my heart. So that really gives me the opportunity to love and accept everyone because they are not their behavior, right? And I feel for me, is so important to recognize that our behaviors does not determine the human being that we are. And the Lord loves us disregardless of what we have done, and who am I to judge, right?
Amen.
So that is my kind of like my life model. I just love it, and I always see people. I always pray that I see people with the eyes of God.
Oh, wow! I think that's a repeatable statement too, because that's what we're called to do anyway. But I like how you say that. Love people with the eyes of God. That's powerful. We can be pretty judgmental as people, right?
Yeah, and I am too at times, and I have to slap myself a little bit and say, hey, wake up, Lucy.
Wake up. Lucy, you got some
explaining to do.
Got some explaining to do. No, that's really good. Are you still close with all your siblings?
Yes. I feel like even though I'm not the oldest, I've always been seen as the oldest. I've always been the one like putting people in their place. I'm like, hey, you need to step it up. What are you doing? You're wasting time. Or what is your focus? I'm honored to say that, well, my biological sisters, my oldest sister, she has been in the dental industry for 30 years. Yeah. My other sister has been in the hair industry, which is kind of fun. Her job is kind of fun. She's in Los Angeles. And she works at a hair company. So the Pirates of the Caribbean with the long hairs and all the artists with the extensions, that's her jam. She gets to hang out with the famous people.
That's so cool.
Yes. And my other sister, she is the GM for Olive Garden in Southern California. She has about 3,500, employees. And she's just leading herself, a wonderful leader. And I love that. My other sister, she works in the auto industry, and my brother, she's the general manager from Washington and Oregon for AutoZone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're all
you guys are all high level professionals. Yes. It sounds like.
Yes. And I think I think it's part of our DNA. We're very driven. Yeah. We're like serving others in leadership roles. And it's just been such a phenomenal experience. Yeah. So that's my biological family. With my, my adopted family, unfortunately, even though we grew up with the same values, with the same love and respect from our parents, they decided to have a different life. And some of
the siblings,
my adopted family, two of them already passed away.
Really?
Yes, and one of them, unfortunately, he's not doing well. He's involved in some drugs and other things.
Yeah.
And one of my brothers, he's just doing well. He is doing fantastic. So, I get to see it all, and I just get to be a support for them. If they need me, I always say that if you need me, give me a call. I'm always going to be here for you. I can pray for you. I can, but you need to desire that, right? Some people don't want to be rescued, and that is okay too. The only thing we can do is pray for them.
Man, amen. You're right. I mean, it's hard. It's interesting. We come from the same family. We live in the same household. We have the same values, but yet one goes here and one goes there. And so my household too. So heck, I've made all my bad decisions too. So, well, this is interesting. Where'd you go to high school at then?
Yeah, I was born in Torrance, California. So I went to Harbor City Elementary School, which it was in Harbor City, and Lomita in California. And then I went to Narbonne High School, which is in Torrance.
Okay.
Yes. And then I always knew what I wanted to do since I was little. My dad, when we used to go to the bank, I remember I used to tell my dad, when I grow up, I'm going to be a businesswoman just like this ladies.
I love that.
Yes. And he's like, why? He's like, I want to get my nails done and wear high heels. The wrong reasons, but...
No, I love it.
But you know what? I was I grew up as a very protected child.
Yeah.
I was only allowed to work in my family business and support them. And I was not allowed to work outside of the family. And which, was a blessing. But when I got married when I was 18, I'm like, I'm going to go find a job.
Yeah.
I want to go explore the world and see what that's like. And I got pregnant right away with my son.
Yeah.
I had my son when I was 19.
Okay.
So I remember one day I was walking down the street and I noticed the bank had a sign now hiring. And I'm like, I think that means that they need someone.
Yeah.
So next morning, I'm still in bed around 10 o'clock in the morning. And I just happened to pick up the phone and call them. And I'd never been interviewed before. I didn't know what that world was like. So I called them and I said, hey, I saw your sign. I was walking down the street with my son. And they're like, we're hiring. Would you like to come in for an interview? And I said, of course I do. And I went in. It took me an hour to get there. It was really close by my house.
Yeah.
And I walked in like I owned the bank. Like I had questions.
You've been thinking about this for a long time. This was not new.
Exactly.
Got it.
So I went in, I interviewed. They had me pick up the phone, greet people, make a couple of phone calls, look at some documents and all this great information. And I stayed to work the same day. I didn't know what position I was interviewing for, but I was hired as an underwriter and as a collector.
Day one.
So I was collecting on past debt, people that were past due. And I was I think I was born to just listen to people and meeting what they were, at that particular time. And we turned around collections really quick. We were like 25% of our accounts were in collections. We brought it up to 3%. Wow. And it was just calling people and say, hey, I'm pretty sure you mailed your payment, but it got, it's not here yet.
I like that.
It's not here yet. So what's going on?
And you weren't assuming the words like you need to pay your bills. So
Yes.
You probably mailed your bill. But
Yes. And then I of course, I didn't know anything about underwriting. So I'm like, I had to learn that. And I'm a fast learner. Yeah. I apply myself. And, I want to do my best, regardless if I'm getting paid or not. I mean, I'm just going to go there and serve. And I got promoted as an assistant manager really quick and then transitioned to another finance institution.
Which bank did you start at?
I started with a very, very small bank in Wilmington, California called ABC Bank.
ABC Bank.
Yes.
Okay. Always be closing.
Yes, absolutely. So, and they also specialized in financing like jewelry, the 90-day same as cash and things like that. Very small bank. And they closed. So I had they were merged. It was a merger. So I moved to a finance company then, which was AL Financial. And then from AL Financial, I went to work for AIG. So yes. And AIG was the one that brought me to Oregon.
Gotcha.
I was transferred to Oregon because I was nicknamed the loan machine.
Wow. What year was that?
That was 25 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
2001.
Yes, in 2001. And my job was to come in here to Oregon and expand the brand of AIG. And then I was pursued by KeyBank.
Okay.
It was like I was working for the company for 10 years, and they're like, oh, we heard about you. We would like to invite you for an interview. Scott Hill, he's in McMinnville, and he came to talk to me in my office, actually.
That's kind of interesting.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm not interested, but because you came in and visited with me, let me come visit you now.
Okay.
So I went in there, and he's like, we would like to hire you. And I was like, I've been in my job for 10 years. Like, I have no plan of moving.
Yeah.
I know the ins and outs. And back then, we were approving loans, like shaking the hand and, kind of doing the good old days, back in those days. So it was really fun to be able to just be able to lend money to people and help them get into home ownerships or, a home equity line of credit or credit cards or car loans, whatever that might have been at that point. So, and I know you're in lending too, right?
Couple days, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good that you knew early on, Dad, this is what I want to do. And it was the perception of what a businesswoman looked like. Was she had confidence, probably.
Yes. That was very attractive to me.
Yeah. And you have confidence, I can tell.
Well, yeah, I know what to bring to the table.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that we should practice more, believe in ourselves. Not from an ego point of view. No, but knowing that as children of God, right? We were created with...
I think that's it. Yeah, don't shy away from being a child of God.
Yeah.
He's gifted you with gifts that only He's given you. Show them off. You're not bragging. You're just using the gifts that He's given you.
And I get to hear some feedback. When I was in banking, I was told that I had an ego, because I was so confident and I can speak highly of myself, not to diminish anyone or to discredit anyone, but I know my stuff. I know what I bring to the table. I'm confident. I speak with facts. I'm never going to tell you something that I'm not able to do or commit that is not against my values. And I'm willing also to step away from organization or spaces where I think I don't belong, where I think that my values, my attributes, what I bring to the table is not being valued. And I think that that's something that we need to do more of. Like stepping out of rooms that you don't belong, stop trying to fit in, and I think that that's something that I practice in my daily life, maybe because the way I grew up, I remove myself from situations or spaces I no longer belong, and I'm okay with that.
Well, I hear statistics and numbers, like somewhere between 60 and 70% of the people out there hate their job.
Yes.
I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just leave? Fear. I don't know. I think it's fear that stops them from moving forward. Where our minds, unfortunately, are wired, our brains are wired to protect us. And usually it's like, oh, don't do this. Oh, be careful there. You shouldn't do that. But yeah, so we'll get to the coaching part, but is part of your coaching to help people stop focusing on fear and focus on what's possible? Because we know in the Bible it says, perfect love casts out all fear. And so fear is the opposite of love.
Exactly.
So how do you coach on that? That might be a good question.
Well, going back to your statement about the percentage of people that stay in their job, I find it so difficult to believe that. But I feel like it's an addiction. It's like when you become a drug addict and you have, you need to have, well, I never really understand that, but to my lack of understanding is you need to have a certain time, a dosage, right, of this drug. And I feel that for those people that are working at spaces where they no longer belong, where they have outgrew their leadership, is that paycheck is the drug. Right? That paycheck is that every 2 weeks they're getting it. And what's this doing? That's making them comfortable. They're meeting their needs. And they can't see beyond that point. So I think it's really important that I strongly believe in coaches and consultants. I hired my first coach when I was 22.
Wow.
And my friends were like, what in the world are you doing? Paying somebody to tell you what to do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's more than that. It's about shifting your thinking. It's about elevating our awareness. It's about understanding who we are. It's about understanding our limited beliefs. Growing up, I didn't have the mentors at home to tell me, Lucy, this is the business atmosphere that you're going into. They thought I was crazy. They're like, what do you mean you want to go work at a bank? You don't even have money. I'm like, I want to play with somebody else's money.
Play with somebody's money. Yeah.
But, I needed to find the books, the resources, the education that I needed to make sure that I survive in that environment that I wanted to belong, especially because it's more of a male-dominated industry, right? How can we do that? So going back to your question, like, how do we coach around mindset? I think it's a mindset that we need to shift. And I feel like coaching is not effective if we don't build awareness, right? Asking the right questions to help people understand where their mindset is, helping them understand that there is other opportunities for them, giving them examples of things that had happened, encourage them to read a book. For me, I tell you, if you come into coaching with me, I'm going to give you some books for you to build your own awareness, and I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm not the type of coach and consultant that you just want to come in and have a cup of coffee and don't see results. I'm a result-driven coach. And I might not be the coaching consultant for everyone. People might think that I've been nicknamed, one of my customers says, you're like a bulldog. And I said, you know what? I would take that as a compliment.
Thank you very much, right?
Thank you very much. But if you're hiring me, you're not hiring me to be your friend or to have a cup of coffee. Yeah. I need transformation.
I love this. This is really refreshing, by the way.
Yes. And I've actually had to exit clients when I don't see the transformation.
Yeah.
And I encourage them, like, I think it's time for you to take a break. Or if you are looking into hiring other coach and myself, no, I'm stepping away.
Yeah.
Because if you believe you don't have the best coach in front of you or the best consultant in front of you, I'm willing to step away to give you that space for you to really realize where you're missing out. And I'm okay with that. Right? So coaching is a lot about building awareness and really casting the vision, helping people cast the vision moving forward. What does that vision look like for you? If you had no limitations about income, about education, if you had all the resources, what would your life be today?
That's the $1 million question right there.
Yeah.
And that's what we have in front of us, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that. Well, I think, the word accountability is like a cuss word. People don't really want, we're all a little guilty, at least I'll confess.
Yeah, me too.
Reading and continuing learning, which is fine.
Yes.
And never beginning the implementation.
Yes.
Right? So the accountability part is that implementation, because if you know all the things, I've heard this quote before, don't know exactly how it goes, but if a person can read a book, or a person who reads a book and doesn't implement is no different than a blind person who can't read. I'm like,
Yes.
So guilty. Darren Hardy, do you know the name Darren Hardy?
Yes.
He's a pretty solid coach. Long story short, he goes, people are like, hey, I'm going to read 3 books a month. And I've done that before. Like, that seems important.
Yeah.
He goes, why not just read 1 book and implement it? I'm like, what a concept. Because I think I think the dopamine, just back to your dopamine, is the dopamine. I got to get to the next book. I got to, okay, that one I read, done.
Check mark.
Check. 36. Oh yeah. What'd you implement? Nothing. So anyway.
No, I agree with you. There are some books that were written to be studied, not to be read. And I think like there is a different mindset when, I'm guilty of acquiring knowledge. I love understanding methodologies and frameworks and how can you implement it and what is really going to differentiate Lucy Escobar coaching and consulting from other consulting practices. I feel like it is our framework. It is the way that we are also staying up to date with everything that is going on. And I'm guilty of acquiring knowledge. But one of the things that I do with this knowledge, I monetize my knowledge.
You monetize your knowledge. Explain that one.
How can we actually, whatever information we are consuming, how can that help you get to the next career, help you get to the next job, help you get the next client, help you define your business? I'll give you an example. This past weekend, about 2 weeks ago, I took a certification class for the project management. I've been doing project management for a long time, right? But this new skill sets that I gained, I wrote a proposal of $55,000 here this week that I am pretty sure is going to be the differentiator now with the new acquired knowledge that I have when they receive my proposal, right? So how can we really capitalize on what we're learning? It's not the sake of reading, but analyzing ourselves and say, where do I need to grow? I'll be here transparent with you. I think I'm a terrible speaker. I'm a terrible interviewer. That's just my perception of myself. Because I get invited to speak and get invited to podcast a lot. And I'm like, I don't want to be there. What do I have to share? I'd rather put the spotlight in other people, right? And that is just the way that I wire. I'm like, here, these are your next people to interview.
Right. Is that like the imposter syndrome? But I would say, Lucy, you have a gift, and by you not, and this would be for me too. I'm not a public speaker. I can do it. It takes a lot of guts. But your gift is what maybe seen from the stage that somebody needs to see. So don't withhold your gifting, right? But
I do it afraid. I do it afraid anyways.
Do it afraid anyway.
I do it for the other people that will be, I always believe no matter where your life is, what stage of your life is inspiring others, right? So I do it for those that get inspired by me. I do it with courage and determination and preparation. Prepare. So that way, I'm able to not only convey the message, but also to continue to inspire others. So even though I have that belief about myself, like, oh, what am I going to say? I have nothing to say. But, I do it anyway. So that's why I'm here today.
When you, so let's talk about your coaching a little bit. We'll dive in here. Do you do one-on-one coaching? Do you do group coaching? What's your ideal client? I want to dive in deep there. What does that look like?
So I have 3 clients, and people are going to think that I'm crazy, right? Everyone says you need to have an ideal client, which is true, depending of your project and depending on the product that you're offering. I do one-to-one coaching for individuals that desire transformation in their lives. So that could be getting into a new career. It could be someone that is currently working at a job and they need to renegotiate their income. Sitting in the same position, we have been very successful with that. How can you make a case for yourself for you to increase your income? And I think that's so important that people are not thinking about. But if you're working with me, I'm going to think outside the box, right? The other profile of business owners, I work with small business owners. So that could be between a startup business, or it could be someone that has 50, 100 employees, right? What I do with them is I help them align their strategies, their people, and their culture in order for them to have the opportunity to have, and great leaders in their company, a high-performing team, and a wonderful culture. I am all based on results. I don't get there and just, here is the workshopping, have fun. No, I want to see the transformation. And the third one is the strategic planning. So I go into healthcare or nonprofit organization and really help them cast what that vision is for 3, 6, or 30 years, whatever that might be at that particular point. So those are the 3 clients that I work with in my coaching practice.
I love that. That's good. Okay.
And one of the things I wanted to mention is I don't do this alone.
Okay. You have a team.
I have other consultants that I collaborate with, that I work with, in order for them to be able to also, come into my coaching practice and support me with that. Right now, with the strategic planning, about 3 years ago, within my coaching practice, I have a scholarship available once a year. And this is a way for me to honor my mentors and those people that have poured love and knowledge into me. So this 3 years ago, I launched a scholarship, and Sophia was one of the recipients of it. And now she's working with me with my strategic planning, and I have other consultants that work with me in other areas. So I have a list of consultants that I know, like, and trust, that I know that would deliver the same services I would. And I just invite them to collaborate with me. That's an opportunity.
That's so good. Do you coach locally? Do you coach nationwide, worldwide? What's that look like? Is it Zoom calls?
Yes.
Is it in person? What's it look like?
I tell you, the beginning of my coaching career, when I decided to resign banking about 10 years ago.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm going to coach and I'm going to be a coach and I'm going to do this. And I focused, became so narrow focused. I had 50 clients per month.
Holy smoke.
I was sitting in front of a computer via Zoom for hours, and I coach internationally. So some of the coaching calls were like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. And
are you kidding me?
I was coaching around the world, in some Latin America countries. And now I go all the way back. I do have a customer in Costa Rica now that I'm helping with leadership skills to government officials there. And I travel once a month. But most of my clients are based out of Oregon now.
Gotcha. You say you do travel once a month to
Costa Rica.
To just Costa Rica only.
Yes.
How cool is that?
Yes.
I mean, it's a business write-off. I mean,
yes.
It's a vacation possibly, and it's work.
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, I would say maybe 5 years ago, I had the opportunity to work alongside John C. Maxwell.
Man, I love it.
And yeah. So
you did.
Yes. The funny story about this, I had the opportunity to meet John through his books when I was 22, 23 years old. I'm almost 50 now. And
I thought you were 29. I wasn't going to ask, but
I'm almost 50 and proud of it. This gray
absolutely.
hairs.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to travel with John, and we were doing the same thing, like teaching leadership skills to government officials there. And I just happened to build wonderful relationships there. And I was called this year and say, hey, we have this opportunity. We would like to invite you back. And I said, absolutely. So
that is cool.
Yes.
That might be the coolest thing ever.
Yes. And I have traveled to the Dominican Republic as well, and did some coaching there in Mexico as well. So the Latin America countries.
When you say you're traveling there, I see you as a keynote speaker at this event, but really, is that what you're doing? Or are you going into an office? And
I'm going to businesses.
You're going to business and we're gathering around the table and we're talking.
Yes, we're talking.
That's better, right? That's the application
Yes,
thing.
that's the application. That's the transformation piece that happens when you sit around the table and have these quality conversations and develop tools and resources to leaders in order for them to transform their culture and organizations. Yeah.
So good. Yeah. This is great. So much to talk about here. Yeah, I like John Maxwell. I've read a few of his books. Just a great Christian leader.
Yes.
Leading people's like herding cats, right? You've heard him say that before.
Yes.
But you know what? Cats, we're thinking people and cats, but we have cats. You have cats.
Yes.
And so cats are pretty loving if you actually treat them right. They actually want to come hang around with you and stuff.
Yes.
So we have to just learn how to communicate with people. And I think it's a fine line when we say accountability, people are like, oh my gosh, don't hold me accountable. We think we have to be all this tough person on somebody, but there's such a fine line between being, having compassion, listening well, being kind, where people actually want to come to you, and then we're asking the tough questions in a loving way. How do you do that?
Yes, I feel like I have been, so you were asking me earlier if I had the opportunity to do like one-to-one coaching or group coaching. So I'll share with you a story here.
Yeah. I
have a mastermind. It's called the Mastermind Circle. Okay. The Mastermind Circle is a group of women. There are other consultants. Okay. I have 4 consultants in that room. I have an insurance, an insurance agent. I have a real estate agent, and other women are professionals there in that setting. And I said, okay, these are the rules.
I like it. These are the rules.
These are the rules.
Yeah.
These are the agreements. I call them agreements. The agreements. And at the beginning of every meeting, I said, okay, these are the agreements. I had an intake application process in order for them to be accepted to the Mastermind Circle. And they were, with their applications, I was able to retrieve the agreements based on what they were looking for, right? So the first meeting, I said, okay, this is the agreements that you all put together. So let's go over them to make sure that they're still in alignment, right? So, okay, every seat, whatever that might have been, we went to the agreements, now holding them accountable to what they agreed on. And sometimes I believe that they believe that I'm too strict, right? But I always take this like, okay, I noticed that you're not showing up here. Yeah. I was wondering what's going on in your life that is preventing you. That is preventing you from showing up. Like, the original intent was.
Yeah.
Help me understand where you are so I can support you. And I feel like more of those conversations need to be happening in our community with our leaders and with our family, right? Not from a judgment point of view, because I used to tell my employees at the bank, you don't know what happened when that person steps into the bank. You don't know if they have lost a family member, they're going through divorce, X, Y, and they lost their job. We don't know. So have the benefit of a doubt and see them as human being and smile, because you never know if you're going to be the last person they're going to smile today or the only person that's going to smile to them today. So I always try to have the benefit of a doubt and allow them to share with me what's going on. People say that it's really easy for them to talk to me. Maybe because I don't come from a judgment zone, right? But once I know that you're goofing around, I'm going to whip you to shame.
Yeah, we'll be nice until I know. Yeah, I like that though.
Yeah, like, okay.
But that's who you are.
Yes, this is who I am.
Yeah, I'll love on you, but I'm going to whip you into shape.
Yes, and you know, with my son, I feel like I was like that. And I remember him saying one day, he's like, Mom, I'm never going to be good enough for you. And I said, honey, that was a strong statement. I always call him honey. I don't care if he's 30. He's always going to be my honey.
I get it. He's your little boy. He might be 30, but he's your little boy.
Yes. And I said, honey, that is a strong statement. I said, did you do your best? No. Okay. So that's the reason why I remind you that you got more in you. It's not that I'm judging you. It's not that you're not good enough. It's that I see your potential and I know next time you're going to do better. You know, so having that conversation and loving on people by holding them accountable.
You ever notice that people show up, we're adults, you know, I'm 57, but I could show up in my victim mindset, right? You know, woe is me, you don't really know. It's funny. How do you deal with people? I mean, I think I know how you do it because you just explained it. But when you're coaching somebody, not your son, but somebody else, let's walk back through it again.
Yeah.
You know, I've got this excuse because we all have excuses, man. We were really the masters of excuses.
Yeah. I set the tone at the beginning of our agreement.
Okay. So the tone's up front.
Yes. I feel like we need to set boundaries at the beginning. We need to set the tone at the beginning of the coaching agreement. I coach clients from 6 to 9 to 12 months. I don't do people for 3 months or 90 days. That doesn't work. It takes time for us to build a habit, to see the transformation. So, you know, I set the tone from the beginning and I always say like, hey, listen, are you sure you want to come into coaching?
I love that.
Right? Like this is going to be, it requires this of you.
Rather than talking somebody into it, you're like, well, hold on here real quick.
Yes.
You actually need to convince me that you're actually mindset ready.
Yes.
Do you mind if I just, this was around 2011. 2008 happened, you know, mortgage industry. Those were really rough times, at least for me.
Yes.
I'm sure other people had hard times, but really, 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 really difficult times. Long story short, I was going to get into this mortgage coaching program, and this guy, he's an owner of a mortgage company. I won't mention his name, but we had a coaching, or we had a consultation call just to see if I was ready. And he's like, you're not ready for coaching yet. He's like, you're not coming in yet. You need to work on a few things before you get your mind right. And so that next year I realized, you know, he said to me, buddy, you're a lot like me. Because he asked me what I do for fun. I'm like, I just go to work, come home, eat dinner, see my wife, get up, go to work. He goes, you need to figure out how to unplug for a moment. So I started golfing. But long story short, he wouldn't let me into coaching. Sounds like that's kind of what you do until somebody can convince you that they're ready.
Yeah, you know, I say that I'm not the coach for everyone, right? Everyone deserves a coach. I strongly believe that. And I might not be the right coach for them. And I'm happy to make the introduction to somebody else that could best align with what they're looking for. Because once people start working with me, they see transformation, they get out of their comfort box, they get results, they increase their income, they're more confident, they become better leaders. And that's what I want, right? I always believe like my clients are the extension of my legacy. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that I really take that to heart. And if I'm not a good fit, I'd rather exit that relationship, because there is no way for for me to waste my time and for me to waste their time. We only have one chance at this life.
That's right.
So if we come into an agreement, and if we decide that, you know what, this is not moving forward, I think it's better off to take a break and just, whatever that might be at that point.
I think that's really kind of you, really, because you're being honest with him. You're not there just to collect a paycheck, although you are there to make money. But if we're just kidding ourselves, I would say, like I said, I probably spent half of my time in my career in coaching. But if I'm really honest, I think 2/3 of that time that I did coaching, I wasn't coachable. And I didn't even know it. That's what's interesting. It wasn't until 2020 where I had 3 coaches. I had an executive coach, I had a mortgage coach, and I had a weightlifting coach. I'm like, well, if I'm going to spend this kind of money, I probably should actually pay attention, actually apply exactly what. So I realized then and there, because, pride and ego shows up. It's like, no, I'm going to do it my own way. I'm not going to do what my coach says. But I realized I'm going to go all in the full way. And it changed my life. It changed income. It changed how many hours of work how many hours a week I worked. During COVID, I could go down to I could do my work actually in 16 hours, 4 hours on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I didn't work on Fridays. During COVID, you couldn't meet with people, right?
Yes.
So it was different. We did some Zoom calls, but you can actually do your job in 4 hours a day. So coaching, when I finally decided to be coachable, it changed my life.
Yes.
So I'm with you.
Yes. And I feel like I wouldn't be here without my coaches and my mentors, right?
Yeah.
And I continue to invest in myself. And I think that, and not because I want people to hire me, but go out there. I always said, even if you visit with me, go out and visit with other coaches and other consultants. Like make your educated decisions. Go get the 3 quotes.
Come on, whatever, exactly. Sure, if you need to, go for it. But come on back. We're going to help you.
Yes, absolutely. So I think it's super fun to be able to see that, and for people to coming back and said, "Oh my God, I don't know what I was thinking." And there's a lot of business and consultants that do consulting or they do coaching. But there needs to be a strategy behind that. If there's no strategy, there is no moving forward. We can sit down here every single day and talk about the weather and talk about a cup of coffee. But, I want to see movement. I want to see transformation for my customers.
You mentioned the word casting vision, which is a biblical, without vision, the people perish. And so I think that's beautiful what you do. Because if you don't cast vision, I hired my daughter on my team about 2 weeks ago. So she's 2 weeks in this. And so even prior to day one, we already had her we have a mortgage coaching division within our company. I said, guess what, Emily? What? You're in coaching for the rest of your life. You ready? I said, here's the deal. You don't have to do coaching. So there's a pressure release valve to let people off the hook.
Yes.
You do not have to do that. I'm just going to tell you though, it doesn't work. I can show you all the evidence out there if you want me to show you.
Yes.
So you can either agree to do it or you can agree not to. I'm just going to tell you it won't work. Because what could take you a year is going to take you 10 years. Or
correct.
I would say I've been doing this for 28 years. I wish I could go back and actually maybe do a redo. I can't, and I'm okay with that. But how stubborn I was, unwilling to be coached. And so with my daughter, I have 2 daughters, but one's working with me, and I'm like, so I always use reverse psychology with my daughters or with people like, you don't have to do anything.
Yes.
It just doesn't work, just so you know. And so she bought into it. She goes, Dad, I'm all in. I go, well, we'll see. Right? Well, hey, talk, I say it to her, I say to anybody, talk is really cheap. We'll just watch what you do.
Yes.
So,
and one of the things that I feel as parents, right? Like we see it, we know it, but it's so hard sometimes to convince our children, right? Like they have to experience their life. They have to experience their situations. Yeah. And I think that's pretty powerful. Yes, I think I was born to do this. I was born to be a coach and consultant. And I saw that even through the banking industry. I used to be here on Lancaster Drive, a Key Bank. Yeah. Then I went over to Bank of the Cascades on commercial, Browning. And then I transferred to Corvallis, Albany, and then Springfield. And then I went over to Wilsonville, Tigard, and the Portland area. So I was in different branches, but I feel like people don't do business with the logo. They do business with the people. right? So no matter what logo the bank had, they were looking for Lucy.
Yeah.
And they
looking for Lucy.
Yes, they were looking for Lucy, and they wanted to do business with Lucy because they knew that I was going to do what was right for them. And they knew that even though they didn't want to hear me, they were waiting in hours to see me. So people would travel from Albany to Portland, from Portland to Salem. And it was really, really fun.
Something I do with guys, I mentor a lot of guys. And I said, hey, would you like it if I lied to you? They're like, well, people don't like when I lie.
Yes.
I go, okay, so is it okay if I actually tell you the truth?
Yes.
Oftentimes people don't want to hear the truth either because it's offensive.
Yes.
Right. And so I would say, what do you want to talk about then? If I can't tell you a lie and you don't want to hear the truth, what do you want to talk about?
Exactly.
It's just a question. I mean, I'm not judgmental, but look, I've got work to do in my life.
Oh, me too.
I'm
a project. I'm a project.
God's got a lot of work here, man. My wife has her work cut out with this guy,
Yes.
But no, it's a blessing. A couple of years, about 4 years ago, I thought I was going to leave the mortgage industry and become a full-time coach. I got certified, became a coach. I did it for about a year and a half. And I realized it's not my calling, right? I can do it, but I don't think my heart was in it like yours is. I can tell your heart is like, you've been all in for, you said 25 years coaching people.
Yeah.
I mean, your gifting is that. My gifting, I think, is mentorship with men, holding men accountable. Which is partly hold me accountable too, right? Showing up. You mentioned we got to show up and we got to do our best.
Yes.
Right?
So, always. Yeah. And I think we have to be bold enough to ask for help or admit, you know what, this is not my expertise. And I'm really comfortable saying that. Yeah. I think this is not my expertise. Let me bring somebody, let me introduce you to someone else. Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I was called into an organization up in Portland and they want me to facilitate conflict resolution.
Yeah.
I can do it. Of course, they see me in action and they're like, we saw you, we want to hire you, like you've done a phenomenal job. And I asked one question and I said, what would happen if you don't change this?
That is beautiful.
Right. What would happen to the organization if you don't change this situation? And what they told me was, we're going to get sued.
Okay.
And I said, okay, I'm not the consultant for you. Right? Like I'm not at that, I can facilitate a conversation, but I want to bring an expert to really help you prevent that. So I was able to reach out to one of the consultants that I know, and she specialized in conflict resolution. And I said, let me introduce you to this organization because I want that organization to succeed. I want to make sure that they get the best support that they need in order for them to prevent that, right? Yeah. So I think we have to be more comfortable saying that instead of faking it until we make it.
Well, I think ego brings in, I can do all things, lending. I can remember 20 years ago, I do residential lending.
Yes.
And I dabbled in commercial lending. But that is not my lane. I want to stick to my lane. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, we can remove the ego and the pride and go, you know what? That's just not my forte. By the way, do you know Kevin Thomas, that name, Kevin Thomas?
Yes.
Do you know Mark Vermillion, a couple of guys that worked at KeyBank?
Yes.
So I would refer all my commercial deals to Kevin. He retired recently.
Yes, he did retire.
So, but yeah, I think work on your gifting and you realize this is not your area of expertise. You have somebody better. I think it's really good for you to do that.
And I think that comes with also being confident, right? Yeah. And I'm not using that word lightly, or being cocky about it, but just knowing what your lane is, right?
Know your lane.
I love commercial lending.
Good. I'll affirm to you.
I love commercial lending. And I love, I remember one time, I'll tell you a brief story.
Yeah.
Okay, so I first moved in from Southern California, and I was actually afraid to drive on Highway 99 because there was so much land. In Los Angeles, you don't get to see that much land.
Right.
So I'm like, what about if I run into a cow? What about if I get lost?
Oh, no.
You know what's going to happen to me. So anyways, that was the joke of the office every Monday. Yeah. Did you get off Lancaster this weekend?
Oh my God.
I was like, guys.
Shut up, man.
I know. So anyways, I was invited to go visit a farm because this gentleman had a big farm, one of our best clients. And I show up with high heels and a skirt.
Oh, that's funny.
And he wanted me to tour his cherry farm in a tractor.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, that's funny.
Dress for your audience, people, please. Dress for your audience, because I don't even know how I got onto the tractor, and we were up there. He was showing me the whole farm, and It was such an embarrassing moment, but that just reminded me of that.
I love it. We can laugh about it today. We all have that story.
Yeah.
But can we laugh about our own stories? It doesn't define you. It's just a moment. We can laugh about it. We can learn from it. We can move on.
25 years ago, I was too young and naive, you know. And I feel like that's another topic, right? Like being a young leader and professional, and I'm pretty sure you have a lot of audience like that, where they're very young, they're coming to the leadership role. Yeah. Like, how do you conduct yourself in those environments, right? How do you actually not compete, but really set yourself apart from those that have been in the industry for 20, 30 years. Yeah. That is the challenge nowadays. Yeah.
It's funny. Things I've learned, I'm still learning, by the way, right? I have not arrived, thank God. And
I'm a student of life.
I make mistakes and I fail, but God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. And if we're really going to serve people, wouldn't it be best if we just ask more questions and listen more? Because I think oftentimes I'm the expert. I'm going to do all the talking. Mm-hmm. Well, really, that's not the right answer at all.
Correct.
I am the expert, but I'm going to do a lot more questions so I can hear what is important to you. If we did more of that, you can be one day in the business and somebody who's been around for 25 years thinks they know all things. Mm-hmm. Well, they may or may not get that client.
Yes. And I'll tell you, the younger Lucy, she wanted to be on stage. She was the MC. Yeah. She was the first one to take ownership and speak and add value.
Look at you, yeah.
Yeah, now I want to be invited. I want people to invite me to have that conversation. I could be in a room and I could be listening and I don't have to speak. But if you want to know my opinion, invite me to that conversation because I'll be happy to add, the information or my thinking or my expertise or my experience that I had throughout the years. Because believe me, I made a lot of mistakes, right? So it's nice to be invited. Yeah. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, I'm honored to have you here. I think you're full of wisdom. I agree. I don't want to be on the front. If you want to hear what I have to say, ask. I'll tell you, but I don't want to be the guy that has to tell you. It's not that important. So it's only important if it's important to you. So if it is, you'll ask, right?
Yes.
So, hey, we're gonna wrap up. I think we could probably do this again. I mean, this has really been a lot of fun, Lucy.
Thank you.
To hear your story, your journey. I love being in coaching. I think I've never been coached by you, but I think you do a great job. So let's circle back real quick to family. You'd gotten married, and you had your little boy.
Yeah.
He's now 30.
He's now 30.
Okay, and he's married.
He's married.
Tell me about that journey of getting married. What's that look like?
For me or my son?
You.
For me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you were what, 19?
I was 18 actually.
Got married and then had your son at 19.
So growing up, my parents were very strict with me. They're very traditional. They didn't allow me to have like friends or use the phone or, your job is to study and your job is to make sure that you accomplish anything you want. They had me to rewrite my homework sometimes if the penmanship wasn't like perfect. I mean, there were like I have 15 minutes to get from school to home after school. And so one of my neighbors, my son's father, one of my neighbors, we started kind of talking to one another when I was like 16, right? When he turned 18, when I turned 18 and he turned 19, then he came over and had a conversation with my dad and asked him to see if he could marry me or date me. Date me at that point. We were actually 17.
Yeah.
My dad looked at him up and down and said, until you dress properly, you come back and talk to me. You're wearing shorts and tennis shoes. That's not appropriate for you to come in and ask to have a conversation with my daughter. So he went back, he got his belt and dressed up very nicely. And then he came back and and then my dad said, yeah, you two can have a conversation, but out here. I want to make sure that I'm able to see you, right? So that was back in the days. We ended up getting married when I was 18, had my son when I was 19, and we gotten divorced when I was 16 years ago.
Okay.
Yes.
So how long were you guys married then? I can't do that math.
Yeah.
14 years or so?
Yes.
Okay.
14, 15 years.
Yeah, 14, 15 years.
Actually, 17 years.
17, okay.
Yeah, 17 years. And I always grew up with this belief that you only marry once.
Yeah.
I'm not married.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not married, and I'm just dedicating my life to serving others, my son, now my grandson.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just been a beautiful journey to, you know, there's been a lot of, how would I say this? After my divorce, it was such a hard time for me. One, being labeled as a divorced woman. That to me was really hard, right? Going against the values that my father had given me. And then also, like in our Latino community, you know, I feel like I had this, this negative interpretation of what divorce was all about. I'll tell you, I would go grocery shopping at 1 o'clock in the morning because I didn't want people to see me.
Are you serious?
1 o'clock in the morning. And that's the reason why also I decided to work up in Portland because and Tiger in that area, because I needed that space for myself to heal, to be able to do that. So I would do most of my life there. I purchased my home here. I live here in Salem. I never moved my home because I always wanted to be close to my son. I always been very involved in my son's life. We're always been like a basketball family. Until today's date, he's still playing basketball. And I go to every single game.
I bet you do.
I go to every single game now with my grandson. But that was a difficult time in my life. And I feel like God gave me a lot of strength. And now I can relate to others. And, you know, and that was my lack of belief, right? That's what I grew up with, knowing that you only marry once and it's for the rest of your life, and that's what's going to happen, right? But sometimes things don't plan out the way we desire, and that is okay too.
And that's okay. Life happens, and nobody gets married and goes, yeah, one day I'll get divorced. I mean, you know, life happens. Is there any aha moments looking back? That could be different. That could have played out different. Divorce happens. I usually pick on the guys, but you're here, so I'm going to pick on me. Not pick on you, but just really hear from your perspective. Is there anything from your perspective that could have been different? You
mean in my marriage?
In your marriage, yeah.
You know, I feel like we both started here, and then I started growing, and unfortunately, when you get married to someone that is happy with the status quo. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But sometimes when you have a bigger vision, you grow apart, right? And I was not willing to settle for this. I wanted to continue. I feel that today's date, I'm just getting started, right? I feel like I'm just getting started. And I think that that's one of the things that sometimes we forget is that we diminish ourselves because the person that we're with possibly might not be able to cast that vision, right? And I know I was created to make an impact, and I took my mother role very important. I'm always going to be a mother. I made my son a priority. But if that didn't align with his father, which is okay too. Now he's married, he has other children and things like that. But I continue to make an impact. I continue to grow. If I were to go back and you were to ask me, what would you have done differently? Nothing.
Perfect.
My heart is at peace. My mind is at peace. I give it my all. I love unconditionally. And that is a reflection of what my son's marriage is now, right? Because I'm involved in his family. I'm very proud of him. And I see the father that he is and the husband that he is and the priority that he takes in his life, in his family. And that's the life I desire for myself. I get to see it through my son, and I get to be a support for him as well.
Beautiful. Well, Lucy, we have to wrap up.
Yes.
I'd love to do this again, though. I mean, this has really been a lot of fun.
Yes.
You are a woman of conviction.
I am.
You care. You're compassionate. And this has been fantastic. If somebody wants to call Lucy or get in touch with you, what do you recommend? Yes. Well, my office is here in Kaiser on Chemawa Road. That's right. 146 Chemawa Road. You go to lucyescobar.com and you can schedule your own appointment there in my calendar. I make that accessible. I want people to know that I'm an accessible individual. And I think that that's something that I take. If anybody wants to meet with me, even if they don't hire me, but they just need a sounding board, I'm here. I'm listening to you. So lucyescobar.com. You can find me in all the social medias under Lucy Escobar, Coach
page, Lucy Escobar. I'm at LinkedIn, Instagram,
Wow.
Facebook, TikTok, you name it.
You're everywhere.
Google My Business.
Yeah.
I'm honored to have about 62 reviews in Google My Business.
Yeah.
And, just learn about me. And if you need help with your organization, your business, whatever that might be, I do a lot of pro bono work as well.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to call you, let's say I wanted to call you, I could do a free consultation with you,
Yes.
like 15 minutes, 30 minutes, just go,
15
hey,
minutes.
Lucy, tell me about you and how can you help me?
Absolutely.
And okay. Yeah.
There's a little process they need to go to.
Yeah.
They schedule the appointment. They receive an email with kind of like a questionnaire they need to answer. They need to answer 24 hours before our meeting.
Yeah.
So that way we could be effective in our call, right?
I love it.
And I create system of success, and I think that has paid dividends for me.
Yeah. Well, folks, you heard it here. Lucy did a great job just walking through what life is for her convictions, her coaching platform. If you want to get in touch with Lucy, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it just to get to know her, number one, but get a free consult to figure out if Lucy would be the right coach for you. I think Lucy would be a fantastic coach, even for me. I'm in the mortgage industry, but I know for a fact I can be coached by anybody because I can't coach myself. That's the one thing about it. Tiger Woods, maybe it's a bad scenario there. Whichever golfer you want to think about, they'll have coaches, a swing coach, a mind coach, a putting coach. And so, because a coach can see what you're not seeing, and that's the thing. So I would recommend give Lucy a call, give her a chance, and let's share the good news about Lucy's coaching platform. So thanks for being here today. Lucy, thank you for being here. And you want to come back maybe soon?
Absolutely. I'd be honored. Thank you for the gift of your time today and for your interest in what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week.